Alrighty, what's going on? We are live here today for Nuggets for the sound musician. And so, man, it's it's been good. Every day, it's always great to get a chance to learn and implement new information, things that you need to apply. Sometimes it's not new information. It's basically you actually doing what you've heard. And so it's definitely uh, been great. It's been a challenge, but it's been good. So welcome to Nuggets for the Sound Musician. I'm your host here, Quamon Fowler, and I'm gonna dive right in. I always say that. I'm so used to saying it. Okay, so first of all, let's do some announcements here. Um, I have to perform on the 26th of this month for the Dallas Jazz Appreciation Month. So they're going to have like back-to-back performances going on. If you look that up, you'll find out it's like on Floral Street, downtown, Dallas area, and I think it was the church. We do something at the church. Still, I don't have that address, but you have to look it up. I have to go and look and see where it is. But we're performing with my group, uh, Quamon Fowler Quartet, and in May we have a gig, another one at Scat Jazz Lounge, I believe on the 19th. And, other things will pop up in there, and then I'll let you know. I'll keep you informed. I have been recording, excuse me, recording the gigs, and I'll put up clips from time to time. But yeah, let me give y'all some insight. We had a great time yesterday for the mentorship program. We went over, a way that you can practice your scales and arpeggios and apply to modes that then attach themselves to a particular chord within a song. So I always talk about the importance of, the things that you have to go over for maintenance, for, just getting your chops together, warming up or whatever. Just try to warm up with something that you can attach to a song. You know what I'm saying? That way you can be more intentional and functional with the things you work on. Because I think the problem, a lot of guys, a lot of musicians rather, they they disconnect the warm up to something that they can practically use, um, and you get better use of your time when you can go ahead and practice on something that's going to directly affect whatever you have to perform. You know. Okay, so we have a great topic for you today. I got to tell them that I'm doing my live. Uh, but yeah, I got a great topic today. This is going to be very much so helpful because you've heard the saying that what you don't know won't hurt you. And that's a lie. I don't know where that came from because what you don't know can hurt you. All right. It can hurt you because, if you're eating bad, you got bad habits, then those things that you're eating, can hurt you. If you have bad practices with your spending, that can hurt you. If you're unaware of how to run a business the right way, if you don't have a business plan, that can hurt you. Okay? How many of y'all don't have a business plan? See? I'll be the first, but it's okay. I'm gonna give you some help. I'm gonna help you with lessons that I've learned. Okay, and even things that I wasn't aware. I thought that I was doing right, and I wasn't because when it comes to business or really operating at your best, what better way to go about things but to follow the lead of someone who has experience or leverage the experience of a company who has the track record and the experience, so that they can put you into the same path and plan, so that you can get to the same access of information, of money, and all of those things. So it's not even a it's not about a respect of person. Like God has no respect of person, where we're all his children. And even the thing that's so crazy about that is principles, right? Sometimes principles and morality, that's an interesting thing to think about, because sometimes we think that quote unquote good things should happen to good people. But then we discover also good stuff happens to quote unquote bad people. What do I mean by that? You got people who might not be morally uh, good or do all the right things morally, but it seems like good things are happening for them, with their life and business and stuff like that. And so it's frustrating, can be frustrating for those people who are trying to live right and who are struggling, financially or in their business and resources and stuff like that. But when you think about it, it's those are two different things. Um, and there's principles that I think are being ignored. And so here's the thing. What I mean, so leverage, right? So when you have a seesaw, you can have, the thing in the middle like that. But as soon as somebody sits on this side like a lever, because of the weight, it'll make this part go up, you know? And so here's the point. You can leverage the knowledge, experience of others by linking up with them, reaching out to them, asking them, have a conversation with them. And when you do that, you're able to leverage their experience, where they can give you information, provide you with information to help you to get to your goals, right? And most of the time, you have to pay, like they say, pay to play. Otherwise, you stay where you are. And this is sometimes a hard pill to swallow, but it is very true. It's like you are where you are because that's where you want to be, you know? And so, in order for you to be at a higher level or higher skill level or more financial, more finances and stuff, you actually have to do what it takes in order to get there. And most of the time, people will look at things, they'll dream about things, but they're really not willing to take the steps in order to get there. You know what I'm saying? They'll flirt with ideas, but then when it comes to actually doing it, they don't want to, because they're used to their own routine, or they make excuses, or they're fearful, or whatever it is. And so what happens as a result of that, you will stay right where you are. So the very things that you are flirting with, the ideas and the dreams, because you haven't did the steps of what it takes to get there, to make those things happen, or to bring those things to fruition, or bring them things into your world and reality. The reason why you haven't uh, implemented whatever it takes to get there, then it's hurting you. So what ends up happening, because you haven't decided what you want to do with your time, somebody else will decide for you. If you haven't decided what to do with your money, somebody else will decide for you. So what's happening constantly, um, somebody is fighting for our attention, because they know if your attention is if you're not taking your attention and putting it into things that's going to benefit you, then they're going to take time to create things so that it could benefit them. And so the attention that you give to something, then that's going to help to get them to their goals. Whereas you're not taking the time to do it for yourself, so you end up staying at a certain level, or you stay in a place where you're not seeing the growth because you haven't focused on it. And so what you don't know can hurt you. So if you have 8 hours or however much, 10 hours that you're spending, working a job. So by the time you get home, you're tired, you want to chill, you have to deal with family, you got to focus on what y'all going to eat. And then you might turn on some Netflix, or you might turn on, look at social media until you about tired and ready to go to sleep. So you've given the majority, and then you got to put in, 8 hours or so, 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So we have roughly, of course, we got 24 hours in a day. Chop off 8 of that, or 6 if you want to say, to sleep. And then you got commuting. So wherever you're going, so you might, and then of course you got your job, a good chunk, 8 hours. So that'll leave you 6 hours or so to play with in your leisure time. And then you go home, you have family, you got to engage with them, you got to figure out what y'all going to eat together, and all the maintenance and errands that needs to be ran. That's usually within that 6 to 8 hour period. Then you got to go to sleep, right? And so what are you doing with your time? What are you doing to help you to be in a place that is better than where you are now? So what happens is you got to put your mind, or feed your mind with information, with things that's going to help you to position yourself better with the time that you have, so you can be working toward it. And I always talk about work, time, and money. And I have a concept, and it works like this. It's like, where you don't have the time, you have to put the money in so somebody else can do the work for you. If you don't have the money, then you got to take the time to do the work, but so you don't have to spend that money. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you're going to have to decide what it what it is that you need, and you have to do it. If you don't have the time, you got to put in the money. If you don't have the money, you got to put in the time, because you got to do the work to get whatever it is. But either way, what you don't know, if you're struggling, if you're running out of money, at the end of the month, or you know what I'm saying, if you only have enough just to pay bills, and every month you're breaking even, then you got to learn. Your problem is not having enough money. It's knowledge, being aware. Okay. And so even with being aware, like budgeting, right? And you know what I'm saying? If it's always a knowledge thing, like the Bible says, my people are for my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. But then it talks about the leaders, the priests, because you hated knowledge. They rejected the knowledge. And so here's the deal. Then what ends up happening, you got people who end up enjoying their oppression. And this is the thing that gets me. You have people who are broke, who are struggling, who are in bondage, but they wearing designer things, or they're spending money on expensive things, or they're going out and partying and just having a good time, as if they got everything going in their lives. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't have a good time, and you shouldn't buy nice things, but it's a priority. It's sometimes people um, who are struggling will prioritize making sure somebody else is paid well because they're spending money on things that they really can't afford, and they're at a point where it'll be a better use of time if they would spend that on education. I would pay for Audible subscription, and read or listen to books about entrepreneurship, about finances, about, personal development and all those things, because that's your asset, is your thinking, the way you think. If you're not liking your routine from day to day, or you're not liking the results that you get when you perform, or when you speak, or even being able to take care of what you need to take care of home financially, then your problem is knowledge, awareness. And so that's where the asset, like, is our mind. So we have to feed our mind, get more information, get more understanding. Like, the Bible says in Proverbs, and all thy getting, get an understanding. We know that Solomon, the richest man ever, the first thing he asked for was wisdom on how to serve the people that God had assigned him to serve. So he had to understand and learn about people, and God gave him that, and he was able to solve so many problems, and he was well paid from it. You know what I'm saying? So with that, in order to be a leader, in order to increase your revenue, then you got to have value that you give to people. People have to see the value in connecting with you, or paying their attention, and then paying you money for, to receive more value from what that you have. That's what it's all about. And so if you have a money problem, then I think your problem is awareness. Your problem is knowledge. What do I mean by that? Knowledge. So when you think about money, like, and you just think about it, like, who has a lot of money? I'm not even talking about people. Thinking about banks, right? What do people do? What do we do with banks? And here's the deal. This is very like a simple thing to think about, and it's just occurring to me just because I've been, uh, in the process with setting up uh, LLCs, nonprofit organizations, business plans, and website and all this. And so I actually call banks and I talk to them about the things that they look for in order to get funding. All right. Now, there's levels to it, right? You got personal finance, and that's tied to your social. You got business finance that's tied to a Paydex, Dun and Bradstreet number and all of that. Then you got corporate, that's like a higher tier where you get access to big money. So the banks got all the money, right? They got a lot of money because people work, and as they work, they put their money in the bank. All right. First thing, when you need to get a mortgage, you have to apply for a loan, usually with a bank. They have money that we're putting in the bank, and they use our money to lend to others to make interest, so they can lend out more money. You know what I'm saying? If your house gets foreclosed on, you have to go through the bank. It's a trip. Like, they got all the money. So here's the question. This is what I want to bring up. So if you go to the bank and you're looking to get money for a personal loan, if you want to, so it's kind of like, even with business funding, you have to ask them, what do I need to do in order to get money? Because they got a lot of money to lend, but a lot of times uh, we're not understanding, even if we get money, what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm finding out that there's so much money available, but we are not understanding what to do with it. So as a result, a lot of people are consumer minded, and they'll get the money, and then they'll end up putting themselves in a trap because they didn't know how to spend it, because they're so interested in funding those people who have businesses, who have plans, and who have put something in place to get your money. The hard earned money that you're working for, you're putting it into subscriptions, you're putting it into entertainment, you're putting it into designer things or certain type of cars, and they're getting paid off you residually. But how much residual income do you have that's coming into your pocket? And like, how would that even happen? Like, what type of skills do you have to offer? What could you offer that's recurring? Like, what value do you have to give to where people can pay you monthly? And if you don't have an answer for that, then that is your problem. Like, if you got more residual income that's going out than than you have coming in, then your focus rather should be, okay, how can I create residual income so that I could have this reversed? You know what I'm saying? And when you have a plan, ideas, remember your asset is your thinking. My book, The Christian Musician, Learn What Your Real Gift Is and How to Succeed With and Beyond Your Music. That's what I talk about. Music is just one avenue that my giftedness is displayed through. And that's the thing. I had to discover this. I had to learn this. I had mentors, my pastor. I had other people I listened to their books, Dr. Caroline Leaf, and different things, and even personal experience things that happened in my life to help me to see that God was orchestrating something the whole time. He just uses a craft or an instrument or whatever we use as a vehicle that we learn how to execute and perform at a high level using that. But then later we'll understand that God used that as a way for us to see that He needed to use us, or He was using us as His instrument. And so then it's like you get the epiphany moment, and then you realize that your giftedness is really the way you think. And, there's other avenues that of value that can be created through your thinking. But then it's up to you to learn how to do that, to disperse that, to put it in motion. And so now you have multiple you got intellectual property, right? Intellectual property, that's like your thinking. You can put a course together. You can put an academy together. You can put a mentorship program together. And so now you're able to leverage your experience, and it's broader, can be broader than just your industry focus. You know what I'm saying? But you're not if you're not aware of how to monetize those things, or even recognizing the value that you have, you're missing out. You're leaving so much money on the table, or it's out there because you're not even aware of what you have. And so that's what I mean when I say what you don't know can hurt you. So it should then be a priority put on seeking out information on how to better uh, deliver and package up what I have inside of me. Like, it's so many nuggets that you get from the word. And so I just think about, it's a number of instances. It's one is when Jesus, uh, when the people needed to eat, the disciples were saying, "Hey, we only have 2 loaves of bread, 2 fish, and 5 loaves of bread." And so Jesus said, "Bring to me what you have." And I was on this alone, like back in the day, like I was real big on taking what I had, giving it to Jesus, and then He would multiply it. So, what are your ideas? And this is a Proverbs 16:3 too. Commit thy thoughts unto the Lord. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. Whew, my goodness. And then the one in Joshua 1:8, we're talking about uh, the word. In order to have good success, the word have I hidden in my heart. uh right in, what I'm messing up. I'm trying to go off the top of my head. Let me see. But it's the formula for having good success. Let me see if I can pull it up. But you know what I'm saying, these are like key key things, key scriptures, where if you if you apply them, then you'll get the results. But the thing, oh, there it is. Okay, let me pull this up right quick so I won't misquote. But y'all know what I'm talking about for those that in the word. Let me see. All right, so this is Joshua 1:8. Come on. Now it don't want to send. What is going on? But it's the formula is, oh, it's stuck. Let me refresh this page. But I was just thinking about that's the formula. Basically, the formula is uh, following instructions. First of all, pressing into to God, to the Word of God, which is your source, and then what you have and what He's created in you. When you seek Him, He'll teach. He'll multiply it. He'll multiply it, and you'll be able to help people. You'll be able to help people, and of course, it'll be a blessing to you because you're using what He's giving you. It's like you don't have to look outside of yourself. Even when Elijah, when he went to the lady's house, and so she didn't have enough food, and he told her, gave her instructions to go and take these uh, bottles and fill them with oil, and she thought that she was her and her son was just going to die, but that's not what happened. What I'm saying, he gave her instructions, she followed it, and she was able to be blessed by it. And so that's like, oh, okay, this thing is saying I gotta reactivate. That's why I was on ChatGPT. So yeah, I gotta reactivate the thing. So that's why it wasn't pulling up. But anyway, the principle over and over is like, if you follow his word and bring what you have to him, he'll multiply what you have and show you how to use your gift and callings to be a blessing to others, and also it'll help you as a result too. And that's the thing, it's not any competition at being yourself. You just have a self-esteem issue, or you have a confidence issue, but it's definitely not, it's not about competition, because if you just be you and present what you have at a higher level, then it can be a blessing for you. Okay, so this book of law shall not depart from you. All right, I'm clicking on it here. This is what I got to remember this. I don't like how it pulls up all these different uh, translations too. I like King James and like New King James. All right, cool. So this is it. The book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night. This is the formula. And so that you may be careful to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way, yeah, you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. That's it. So what are the instructions? Make sure that you don't let the book of the law depart from your mouth, okay? Being aware of his word, and then you meditate on it day and night, right? Meditate, thinking about it, speaking it, you know, and be careful to do according to all that is written. And then it says, for then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success. So that was worth finding, pulling this up. So that's the formula right there. And so if you believe that and you receive that, he will bless the works of your hand. He will give you understanding, knowledge, and he'll give you what to do. And then it's just a matter of you just doing what he said do in the time that you have. I know we got a lot going on. People are married, people are working, people are busy, but if God put something in you, he put a seed in you. It's up to you to water it, to plant, to water it, to nurture it so that it will bring forth the fruit. You can't get mad at anybody else but yourself. I don't care what you've inherited, what type of problems you've inherited, or environment that you're in currently. If you have the desire to do better, to be better, to have better, then that desire is all you need. That has to be planted, that has to be watered. How do you do that? You got to get the information. You got to get, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So you got to hear the word. You got to hear prosperous talk. You got to hear personal development. You got to get good business strategy, tactics, all of that, because there's a natural responsibility for us to do what we're required to do in the natural as we get things spiritually. Everything is not spiritually and spooky. A lot of things we just have to do or we haven't done. That's why we haven't seen the results. You got people who are not spiritual that are just all about doing work. They're making progress, they're doing stuff, they're having stuff, and we're looking like, man, don't be looking like that. You just ain't put in no work. That's all it is. What you don't know can hurt you. You can be well aware of the Bible and morality. You want to do everything right, but you haven't been applying those same principles that you are aware of. That's like what we was talking about before in James. It's like a man going to the mirror and seeing what he looked like and then walk away not doing anything. You got people who know the word, who have faith and everything, but they fat. They just not applying it to these other areas because they're comfortable. So you are where you are because that's where you want to be, right? Don't blame anybody else. Don't get mad at anybody else, folks that aren't saved. You know what I'm saying? No more than the people that are saved, because it doesn't matter in the sense of progress. Progress is based on our will and our awareness. You know what I'm saying? So we are all human beings, and we're all in different places or different quote unquote levels, but it's all in proportion to our starting point, like our parents, what we've been, how we've been, how we've grown, what has been instilled in us, the resources that we have, the resources that we've been able to take advantage of and implement. And I always like to go back to this that I heard Myron Golden say. He was talking about, I think he did this yesterday, the wealth code. He was talking about how the distance between where you are and where you would like to be is the difference between what you haven't learned and been able to implement, you know? So think about that. If you know that you're at a place right now that you're not satisfied with, and you have a certain place that you want to be, whatever that is. It could be your playing, it could be your financial situation. So let's say if it's a financial thing, right? He used the example where think about if you're not making $1 million a year, what are you making? And then whatever you're making a year, subtract that from 1 million, and then you're paying that much, that difference, you know, for not making 1 million a year or whatever your goal is. And so you have to re-engineer, reverse engineer things, and then think about, okay, what do I need to do to get to 1 million a year, or what do I need to do to be able to play with my own gigs, my own group? What do I need to do that? Whatever you want to do. I mean, everybody has different goals, aspirations, and all of that. But then once you uh, ask that question, then you got to start filling in the steps of what it's going to take to get there. And so we all have blind spots. We all have areas that we're really good in because we focused on those areas. And we have areas that we're not so good in because we've left those behind. You know what I'm saying? We've made it a priority, some of us, to get work, to make money, have side hustles. You got those people, but then their families suffer. The relationships might suffer because you're working too much. Then you have those people who make time for the family and church going people who are nice, good, moral people, but their finances are not good. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't worked on creating side hustles. They haven't worked on creating residual income. So there's different problems. But, and the thing about it, the whole point is to be aware, right? And the message today is what you don't know can hurt you. So we're all human. We all have areas that we're weak, that we're blind in. But what is the solution? To become aware of what it is and then leverage and read that book, listen to that audio book. Then once you hear, then you have a responsibility to do. You hear, you do, and then you have, right? You hear, do, and then you have. And then the thing about the doing, you know, you have a certain amount of time. So if you got the money and you don't have the time, then you got to invest the money. So somebody else will do it for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I am right now, even with getting the business plans knocked out, with getting business funding and all of that. That's where I am in this process for my LLCs and then my nonprofit organization. So, and these are all ideas, right? So your asset is the way you think. So that means the highest form of value is your ideas. And if you can get your ideas out of your head on paper, a plan, something that other people can see, just like Habakkuk said, write the vision, make it plain, so he that may run that readeth it. So if other people can see what you have and what you're thinking, and then that inspires them and motivates them to give you money or to put money behind what you're doing because it's a great idea. And that's where you got to get to. Like, that's like the epiphany moment. If you holding on to this stuff, you missing out. People are missing out. You know what I'm saying? Because of your disobedience, other people are missing out because they're defaulting to what the options are that they have. Where a lot of times, if you would just be obedient, if we would just be obedient, the people around us will be blessed by what God has put inside of us. But you just holding on to that seed. You eating your seed. You're not planting it. You know what I'm saying? You got to plant it. You got to plant it. You got to water it. You got to do something. Faith without works is dead. What you don't know is hurting you. I don't know why you're comfortable in oppression. Like, I'm not cool with it. Like, I always was the type of person, if I felt that I was inadequate in a certain area and I was aware of it, then I was like, oh no, I got to do something about it. I got to change this. I got to do something. Like, that's the type of person I am. Even if, especially if there was an expert or somebody who would look at what I'm doing or give me some advice and be like, hey, Quamon, man, you really need to do this. This would be a lot better if you blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, something inside of me would burn to where I was like, yes, I want to do it. I got to do it. I got to implement it. What's the best way to do it, or what's the quickest way to get it done? I want to do it. I want to make it happen, right? And sometimes we have to spend that money to get it done. We have to get that experience so that we can get into that place of seeing where it's like you go from the unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. That means you now are aware of the things that you don't know how to do. So you keep working, learning, working, and learning. Then you get consciously competent. And then you keep going, keep learning. Then you become unconsciously competent. You don't have to think about it. Now, we go through this in learning in a lot of different things, right? But because I'm an educator, I'm a teacher, I learn processes and ways to learn, because I've done it with my music, and I have labels and things, approaches that I apply to, and systems that I apply to teaching. So I have to apply the same principles and methodology of how I go about things in other areas, like my business, and so that's one of the things I've been really working on, getting better and presenting things with my business. But it starts internal, right? You got to get it out. What do you think? Like, what's the ideas that you have? Flush out a 3 to 5 year plan. Get it out. Even if you don't have anything happening now. Your ideas are golden. Just like how we talk about with music. Like I heard a song, I had to get it out. I had to sing it. And then when I gave it to my guys, they had to interpret. They were able to run with it and we were able to play and create something from what I thought about and heard internally. So same thing with a business plan. You got to get it out and it takes time. You'll tweak things, you'll change things, but the thing about it, once you get it nice, then you can present it to people, a bank or whatever, people who have the money, or institutions or whatever that have the money. They'll give you the money now that you can do the thing that you was thinking, right? And so that's where we need to get to the point too. And if you're interested in locking arms with me, I have some options for you. You can shoot me an email at info@quamonfowler.com if you're interested in learning some of the things that I'm learning pertaining to business, starting your business, getting funding, getting a business plan, and all of those things. Just reach out to me, send me an email, and just put biz, B-I-Z. Or you can text me as well at 877-360-4014. Okay, that's 877-360-4014. Okay, and if you want to be a part of the Sound Musician Mentorship Program, then we talk about these things on Thursdays, and then we do our music, jazz improvisation and stuff. We practice with me on Zoom. We do those on Tuesdays. So if you want to be a part of that, just go to shed.quamonfowler.com. All right, that's it for today, and thank y'all for hanging with us. And we will see you on another one tomorrow. I try to do these daily at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that's it for now, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.